Hello, hello. I've arrived. Artist, archivist, future man. And tonight, me. I guess. We're just talking about the stream, so I am me. But yes, you can call me Tiberius Vanderfield. Hello, hello. So yes, we are already on the 4th year of streaming. This very much does not feel like a thing that is true. And yet, despite everything, it is. So, like I've been saying, tonight we're mostly going to be talking about the previous streaming year, and probably more so we're going to dedicate time to the next year. Because yes, there isn't a whole lot to be said about this year in all honesty. Yeah, it has been a little bit slow, I would say. Yeah, that was true of last year as well. Yeah, neither of them were particularly good, I would say. Yeah, neither of them quite met my standards. But yeah, the main issue was just inconsistency. And you can take that as inconsistency or inconsistency, whichever you find to be more amusing. But yes, so consistency was the issue, lack of consistency was the issue, and yeah, there's, reasons for that. Yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail, but yeah, just sort of personal things, more or less. Fortunately, though, towards the end of year 3, I have started now going to therapy. I have received medication for, I guess, first of all, a diagnosis for, and then medication for ADHD and things like that. So we're definitely looking up. But yeah, the biggest factor, I think, though, is having learned better how to take care of myself, more or less. Yeah, I think that's the biggest game changer that has enabled me to, start picking the pace back up again after, again, roughly a year and a half, almost 2 years of just not really doing what I would like to do. But yes, so I'm definitely looking forward to things, but before we go into the future, let us talk about the past. Yeah, so once again, year 3 of the stream was fairly slow. Mostly what we did throughout this year, or I should say the most consistent thing, maybe even not the most consistent thing, in fact it definitely wasn't, but sort of the main project that I was working on was Arknights. That has been an ongoing series for also the majority of the lifetime of this channel, I discovered. Arknights feels like something that was recent, almost, but no, it's really been going on for a while. But yes, it's been going on for a lot longer than I was thinking anyway. But yes, other than that, as well, the Coffee Talk series with Sheppy Sheps. Yeah, those were sort of the ongoing projects for this year. They started before this year, or started before last year. Yeah, started before year 3, just to be clear. Started before year 3 and sort of continued on into year 3. But yes, as for things that began in year 3, we had Mika and the Witch's Mountain and Uma Musume, a Pretty Derby Party Dash. Yeah, of those, we completed Pretty Derby, or Party Dash, Pretty Derby. I guess Pretty Derby is part of the title of it, but in my mind that is more referring to the game. Well, Party Dash is also a game. Yes, Pretty Derby is more referring to my mind the mobile game, rather. But yes. So yeah, of those, again, we completed not all of Party Dash, but we completed as much as I'm currently planning on. But yeah, other than that, not a whole lot was done, per se. Again, a lot of it was sort of trying to maintain momentum without really having a good idea of how to build up and keep that momentum in a consistent and sustainable way. And so yeah, it was, honestly, very much a struggle. Yeah, I'm a very reserved person by nature, so I don't necessarily like to talk about a lot of all of this. Yeah, I don't like to talk about myself in general, for the most part. But I do think that there's value in, sharing my experiences because I'm not the only person who struggles with these sorts of things. And, if anyone else is out there has these same sort of struggles, then it could be helpful for you to hear sort of what I've been going through and how I've coped with it and things like that. But yeah. So, that was the last year. Other than that, for non-series games, which is to say ones that don't have sort of a specific end point in mind for them, we played Balatro once during year 3. Yes, we continued playing some Guilty Gear, which I also started playing a long time ago, relatively speaking. Yeah, my sense of time in the, long term is very strange. I tend to group occurrences together into specific periods of time, which, I don't know, either I tend to group them up or I tend to spread them out. Very rarely do I have a good idea of when things happened, in an actual sense. Because when I think back to when I was young, when I was a kid, I usually tend to think of everything more or less as happening. Oh, this happened when I was 8 or so. This happened when I was 5 or so. This happened when I was 11 or so. But, the things that happened during 8 or so usually are the things that happened, from roughly, they could have happened basically at any point, really. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. I guess I didn't really have too much of a point there. But yeah, in short, my sense of time on that is a little bit weird sometimes. So, yeah, it's very easy for me to forget how long I've been at some of these things, because things that are fresh in my mind feel recent, basically. They feel more recent than they are. I think about Arknights, every week, more or less. Well, every week, yes, because I do stream it every week as of current. But yes. So I think of Arknights every week, so I tend to think of it as being something that started recently, but it has been ongoing. And again, I sort of thought of Guilty Gear, or I think of Guilty Gear recently. I've been thinking of Guilty Gear recently, so I thought, oh, I must have started this, not too long ago. But the first Guilty Gear stream was back in 2021. But yeah, I guess probably because of how relatively uneventful year 3 and year 2 of the stream were, probably because of that is why a lot of, I get a sort of, it's harder for me to sort of estimate when things happened during those years, or when things didn't happen during those years, because there's not quite as much to compare things to. Because, I can remember the rough sequence of events, generally speaking, but the exact timing of them is a bit vague for me. But yes, anyway. So, with all that, I suppose I don't have a whole lot to be said. But yeah, things have definitely picked up a lot in the past few months. Yeah, this month especially. But yeah, so again, I'm feeling optimistic, and I'm looking forward to what we're going to have going forward. And I suppose then we might as well get into the upcoming year. So yeah, so again, what I want to emphasize for this upcoming year, above all else, is consistency. And key to consistency, again, is sustainability. I need to take care of myself well, so that I have the energy and focus and time that I need to put into these streams and make them, good and entertaining and all that. But yeah, so that is going to be a focus. I want to stream more consistently. I don't want to have any months this upcoming stream year where I simply do not stream, or where I, will stream once or twice a month, because that was unfortunately common during the past few years. But yeah, it was a very, very unfortunate thing that. Yeah, I feel like that is where I lost a lot of the momentum. I don't like to talk about metrics too much and things like that, but we definitely had a much more active community and things like that, sort of in year 1 and 2. And this is something that I did double check the analytics for and things like that. So I'm not completely, estimating on that as I am with a lot of other time-related things. But yeah, year 1 and year 2 were definitely a lot more active in a lot of ways. And yeah, then again in year 3, I struggled a lot to maintain the pace. Yeah, part of the relative ease of getting through things in year 1 and 2 was due to the fact that, I just didn't work as much, broadly speaking. Like, year 1, for a good portion of that year, I was actually unemployed, like, completely. So I just had all the time in the world to stream, basically. And so my work hours haven't changed dramatically, but the type of work that I do has changed. I'm putting more, the things that I do are more, I don't know if I'd say important, but they're more they require more mental energy from me, basically. Yeah, I tend to do more tasks and do more complex tasks now than I did when I first started working back in 2021, or first started working this job, I should say. But yeah, so let's see. So again, it was a lot easier to find the time to stream simply because I didn't have as many responsibilities back then as I do now. But yeah, so I don't want that to be a huge obstacle, though. Yeah, I don't expect it will be. Again, I've had pretty decent. Yeah, I don't know. I've done the math basically, and I imagine that we should be able to do more streams. Yeah, we should be able to do streams consistently and all that, and I should still have time to, do the other things that I need to do and all of that. But yeah. So again, the plan currently is to go to 4 or 5 streams per week. Yeah, I'm thinking of, or rather I'm hoping for 5, but if I am having a particularly busy week, I might drop it down to 4. But I don't think that we should need to drop it down any further than that. But yes. So again, the current plan is to stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But yes, Thursday and Friday streams we can expect around 9:30. Possibly I could start them as early as 9, honestly. Yeah, I've gotten better with my time management as well. So doing that seems more realistic. I'm not going to commit to it necessarily right now, but it is more of a realistic option, whereas previously it was kind of a pipe dream. But yes, so starting streams earlier in general is very much on the table. Though again, I have to decide how I want to spend my time, basically. I have to decide how I want to spend my time, and just putting more hours into streaming isn't necessarily going to help the stream. But yeah, I want to put out quality streams as well as a quantity of streams. And if I'm constantly running myself ragged, that's not really going to help anything. So yes, so again, it will depend a little bit, but I think that 4 is very easily doable, and 5 should be doable almost every week. Things can always come up that could change things, but I can't know that ahead of time necessarily. So yeah, again, 5 is what I aspire to, 4 is sort of the standard. Anything less than that would be an unusual and unfortunate circumstance, and anything more than that would be unusual, not necessarily unfortunate, but not something to plan around. Only something I would do for special occasions, such as this week. But yeah, so I've definitely been surprised at how easily I was able to manage to do 6 streams this week. But yeah, it really goes to show how much a lot of the yeah, again, taking better care of myself, mostly managing stress, things like that, have been the biggest game changers. But yeah, that has, I think, had the biggest effect. Previously, I've had, weeks where I've had weeks where I've streamed 6 times a week or so, and it has just left me completely exhausted. Like, so exhausted that I would take like a full week or 2 off afterwards. But honestly, I think I could probably do another 6 streams next week if I wanted to. I don't want to. Because again, I do want to reserve some time. And, 2 hours or 1 hour at the end of the day isn't going to make or break my day. But, the reasons why I don't stream on Sunday is because that's my day off. That is just my day off. I do not do things on that day. That is the day off that I get each week. Yeah, I do, life things, entertainment things, but I don't do work things, or even hobby. Well, I do hobby things. That's, entertainment things. Yeah, I guess I sort of said that because, I do consider this to be somewhat serious. I would like to do streaming more seriously, make something of a career out of it. But I haven't been taking it that seriously, so I sort of lapsed into thinking of it as kind of a hobby there for a moment. Yeah, which is not really my intention per se. Again, I would like to be able to do this, make a reasonable income off of all this. But yeah, anyway, where was I? Somewhere. So we're talking about streams, and we've been talking about streams. Next year, 5 streams per week, 4 streams per week. Probably not 6 streams per week. Again, it should be doable. Right, I was talking about why I don't stream on the days that I don't stream. And Wednesday is quite the opposite. Wednesday is a day where I am extra busy at work. So that is just a day that's a day where I broadly don't have a whole lot of time to do a whole lot of things outside of work if I stream. Because, I'm working 8 hours that day, and then I have to go home and I have to have dinner and I have to walk my dog and I have to do all that other stuff. And then if I have to stream on top of that, it's 2 hours for the stream, but, then I have to set up for the stream. And then once I'm done, I have to, do more work to get the VOD ready and all that. So basically, all of that stuff just completely eats up my day. Leaves me with basically no time to do anything other than stream and work. And I don't really want that per se, necessarily. It's survivable, certainly, but I don't want to do that consistently. Yeah, I want to be able to do other things on Wednesdays. But yes. So, let's see. We were talking... went over why what days I want to stream on and why and all that. Yes. So, I think that, that's that for the schedule, I suppose, or at least in broad terms, what days I want to stream on. Now I want to talk a little bit more about what I want to stream. So yes, so again, we've got some ongoing series. We've currently got Arknights, which is the main series, the main game that we're doing. Yeah, so that is, we just wrapped up Chapter 5. Yeah, currently the plan is to go through all of Act 1 continuously, after which we'll change things around a little bit. We'll still be doing Arknights, and again, I do intend to do the whole story of Arknights, ideally. But I'll get more into that in a little bit. So yes, so Arknights is the main focus currently. Yeah, on the back burner, again, we do have the collab series with Sheppy Sheps. So yeah, so again, I haven't heard much from Sheps recently. Yeah, I understand that they are taking some time off, and I am not inclined to bother them. So yes, so I don't have anything to say on that topic for the time being. It will resume when it will resume. So yeah, beyond that, we do have side games. Currently the main side game, or I guess, main side game almost feels like a contradiction, but the side game that we've been playing currently is Mika and the Witch's Mountain. So we'll be continuing that. we'll be continuing that, of course. After that, yeah, I don't know what I have immediately. But yeah. So that is sort of the... Yeah, oh, right, also Guilty Gear. So Guilty Gear is another game that we've been playing fairly regularly. Yeah, I think probably playing it on stream has been good. I think playing it just consistently at all has been very helpful in helping me actually build up some skill for the game. But yeah, there's definitely a long way to go yet. And, I don't play the game much off stream. Yeah, I don't actually play video games much off stream in general. That has been another sort of stress, lack of energy thing for me. Just not wanting to do a whole lot outside of the times that I have specifically scheduled for them. But yeah, I've been doing so more though recently. But yeah, anyway. So I think if I really want to get especially notably good, I don't expect to be a professional, or I don't aim to be a top tier competitive player. I want to play the game casually, but I want to play it well, I want to feel like I'm in control of my character and know what I'm doing. But yeah, in order to do that more effectively, probably I'll be playing the game more off stream. I guess I don't need to tell you that necessarily, but yeah, I don't know. That's another thing. Another thing that has sort of been an odd hang-up for me is that I've always felt a little bit weird about playing games that I play on stream, off stream. Because I always think, I want to stream the game. I want to, share the journey, I suppose, is sort of the thought that I had. I want to share the journey with you all, share my experience with this game. And obviously, I don't want to go through the story of Arknights per se off stream and just, get back to stream and be all like, we just did a few things off stream. We got through, chapter 6 off stream and, just skip over it or anything like that. But for something like learning a game, especially, a fighting game, a lot of that involves, practice. And it'd be more efficient to practice if I'm not also focused on trying to be funny at the same time. So yes. So, yeah. Basically all of this is me telling myself that it's okay to play a game off stream, even if I play that game on stream sometimes. But yes. Let's see. So yeah, so I guess we'll go a little bit more into my plans with Arknights. I've talked about them a little bit, they're still sort of solidifying in my mind, so they probably changed somewhat since the last time I talked about it. Yeah, I also don't remember too clearly what I said last time I talked about it. I know I came up with a plan, but I don't remember it now, and I don't remember where I wrote it down. So yes, so again, in broad strokes for right now, the plan with Arknights is to go all the way through Act 1, so that'll be through Chapter 8, I believe? Yeah, through Chapter 8, because yeah, Chapter 9, or Episode 9 of the main theme. Episode 9 is the start of Act 2, as I recall. So, we'll be going through all of Act 1 with Arknights as being the main game, which means that it is going to be the game that I prioritize playing. If I can only play one game in a week, it'll be the main game. Things like that. If I can play a game twice in 1 week, then that would be the main game. Stuff like that. But yeah, so Arknights is going to continue to be the main game up until the end of Chapter or Act 1, at which point it will become a side game while we do some side content, and I'll have something else as the main game for that time. I think once we do that, I'll probably switch back to having Tales of Arise as the main game, temporarily. Yeah, again, until I beat Tales of Arise, or until I get through the side content I want to get through in Arknights. That's it. So yeah. So since we started playing Arknights more consistently, I've gotten a little bit better at it. So it's been easier for me to get through it a bit more efficiently. But yeah, that being said, it is still a pretty big game, and again, we've been playing it for about 3 years now, and we're only through Chapter 5 as of what was it, no, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, I think. Or was it yesterday? I don't even remember now. Yes, it was yesterday. Yes, as of yesterday, having been playing the game for about 3 years on stream, we've only just now gotten through episode 5 of, again, there's 15, I think. And so, in service of it not being something that will take me a decade or so, I don't want to, okay. Give me a moment to collect my thoughts. So yes, so again, ideally, I would like to play all of the Arknights content. Yeah, everything that is playable in Arknights and everything that will become playable in Arknights, because I like the game. For the sake of practicality, and for the sake of not psyching myself out too much with an incredibly daunting task, I do plan to, currently focus on the main story. Yeah, focus on the main story. Again, after Act 1, we're going to take a break to do some of the side stuff that I want to do, some of these side storylines and side stories that I think are it would be useful to know for the main story, things like that, things that tie into the main story. But yeah, some of the events we'll be doing during that time, but we're not going to be doing all of them, and we're not going to be doing all of these side games or all of these side modes and things like that, just for the sake of time. But yeah, again, we've been getting through the game faster than I was initially projecting, now that we've been playing more consistently, and now that I'm a bit better at the game, and things like that. So, my earlier projections of, this is going to take basically a decade if we want to get through the whole thing, aren't as dire. It doesn't seem as likely. Every now and then we could probably even do a special where we play a lot of Arknights for a week or so, if I really wanted to get through the game a bit faster. But anyway, all of this is to say it's not going to take as long as I had initially feared, I think. But yes. So again, that's the plan. I don't have I don't have a great idea of exactly what I want to do and exactly when I want to do it, but that is the broad strokes of the plan. But yes. So, that is Arknights, and so as for other future things, again, Tales of Arise is going to be a thing that we do. I want to make that another main game. But yeah, I don't want to run it concurrently with Arknights necessarily. I guess there's no reason specifically not to, but once we pick up Tales of Arise again, I want to be able to play it through to the end, because it's a very, it's another narrative-heavy game, and I feel like not having that continuity of the narrative is going to hurt the experience somewhat. But yes, so I do have some ideas for sort of helping us get picked when we pick it back up, but I'll get into that in a bit later. So yeah, so again, Tales of Arise, I do intend to continue that. I want to continue that at a time when I can continue it, I guess, I can always do whatever I want, basically. This is my stream, after all. But I do want to deliver content consistently in a way that you can rely on, basically. I want to play Arknights, and I want you to be able to anticipate that we're going to be doing Arknights. And, that's why I say ahead of time, we're going to do this until such and such time, and then I'm going to take a break so we can do something else. Things like that. Yeah, I want this to be something you can, something that you can have some expectations about, basically. Something that you can look forward to. But yes. So again, we will continue Tales of Arise at a opportune time. Yeah, the reason why I don't want to do it as a side game is because I consider side games as things that I don't mind picking up and dropping and not doing super consistently. Yeah, again, the main games are the thing that I want to take as seriously and do as consistently as possible, whereas side games are things that I'm more willing to pick up and drop as is whenever is convenient. So yes, so on that note, for another side game, yeah, I think we might pick up Live Alive as a side game. Yeah, the stories in Live Alive, it is a game that consists of many small stories. Yeah, so I think it would make for a decent side game, even if we were to do it all in one, or if we were to do it, one chapter at a time or whatever. Yeah, it's something that you could very easily put on hold for a while and not be missing, when we start the next chapter, what happened in the previous chapter. I say previous as if they have a continuity between them, when what I mean to say is that they specifically don't. It is a series of stories that all take place in the same world, but it's sort of like an anthology series. They don't directly connect to each other. From one story to another. You don't necessarily need to play them in a specific order for them to make sense or anything like that. So yes, so you could stop from one story to the next and not lose the sense of continuity of the narrative and things like that. So yes, so Live Alive, the Live Alive remake, I should be more specific, is definitely a thing that I'm thinking of picking up as a side game. But what I also want to pick up in the not-too-distant future is Atelier Yumiya, The Alchemists of Memories and the Envisioned Land. Yes, the new Atelier game that is coming out later this month. But yeah, I was also thinking about picking up Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma later this month. I talked about both of these things previously, at the start of this very week, I believe. But yes, it would be very difficult for me to pick up Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma this month, though, because I misread the release date. Yes, I had initially thought that it was being released on March 30th, when it's actually being released on May 30th. So if I were to get a copy of it this month, that would be quite remarkable. Quite remarkable indeed, but considering that is unlikely, maybe not impossible, but unlikely, currently the plan is we're going to be doing Atelier Yumiya. I've wanted to do an Atelier game for a while. I wouldn't say that I've been a hugely dedicated fan of the franchise. I played, Atelier Sophie, the first one, and Atelier Ryza, the first one. Beyond that, I have the 4, I believe? Yeah, there's 4 of them. Yeah, the 4 Arland series games, and then the 3 Dusk series Atelier games. But yes. Where was I? Right. Yes. So I have a lot of the games. Maybe not the majority of them, but I have a fairly significantly large number of them. I've played 2 of them. I've seen Let's Plays of 2 of them. It's definitely a series that I'm interested in. It's a series that I've been wanting to play on this channel for a while. But again, with my desire to get through Arknights and my lack of consistent streaming, that hasn't really been an option to do any of those games at this time. But yes, so that is something that is coming up on the horizon. But yeah, I do intend to run that sort of as a side game. I want to do it somewhat consistently. Again, I want to keep up a certain amount of narrative consistency, as it is an RPG, and thus, will have a fairly significant focus on the story. But yeah, I want to do that, and I want to play that game, basically. And I want to play it a little bit more consistently than just, playing it whenever I feel like. But, again, Arknights will still be the priority. And so, speaking of Arknights being the priority, let's talk about the very near future. Yes, so I mentioned it before as well, I think, again, around the start of this week, but there is going to be an Arknights event, crossover event, coming up, with Delicious in Dungeon, or Dungeon Meshi. Yes, the manga and anime series. Yeah, so I did remember that was coming up. I did see that was coming up on their Twitter account, and I did check. I wasn't initially aware of it earlier this week when I talked about it the first time, but I did check again recently, and it's actually starting on the 10th, this upcoming Monday. So, yes, as with other crossover events in Arknights, I would assume that they're probably not going to. Yeah, I would assume that it's not going to be something you can just return to whenever, basically, the same way you can with, just Arknights events. So yes, so because it's going to be more of a limited time thing, that is going to be a focus. So probably, I don't know if every stream I'm going to do in the upcoming week is going to be the Delicious in Dungeon crossover. But that's definitely going to be a priority, as it was with Operation Originium Dust and Operation Lucent Mirror and what was it? Leaves Chasing Fire? I don't know. The Monster Hunter crossover. But yes. So I expect that to be a high priority since I'm going to be starting it, right when it starts, and I'm going to be streaming more than. Yeah, basically, it's going to be a 2-week-long thing, and so I probably don't need to focus it too hard in order to get through the story. Yes, previous Arknights events have taken us, I believe, 6 to 7 streams on average to get through. So yes, so I don't know for sure how long this is going to take, but that seems to be a pretty decent estimate. Even Chapter 5, where we had, I think, 2 or 3 stages that we got stuck on for 1 or 2 streams each, we got through in 8 streams. Yeah, so it shouldn't be too unreasonable to expect that if I really pushed, I could get through the Delicious in Dungeon crossover in 1 week. I don't want to push quite that hard, though. Yeah, I don't want to push quite that hard, though. I would like to get it done, but I would like to get it done before the 20th, because that is when Atelier Yumiya is coming out. So yeah, so up until the 20th, the event runs through the 24th, so even if we don't get it done immediately, we can still, have a chance. Or even if we don't get it done before Atelier Yumiya comes out, we can still get it done, basically. So yeah, so that's going to be the main focus of the next week. We are still going to do some Guilty Gear. We are still going to do a Friday Guilty Gear stream, I think. But yes. Other than that, though, I think we're primarily going to be playing Arknights. But yeah, and then we will continue that through the second week of the event until such time as Atelier Yumiya comes out, at which point we will incorporate that into the schedule a bit more. That's it. But yes. So, let's see. I went over Tales of Arise, I went over Live Alive, Atelier Yumiya, the Delicious in Dungeon crossover. But yeah. So, I think, we've talked about sort of the games and all that. Let's talk about some things that aren't games, necessarily. So, let's talk a little bit about the stream itself. So, look around you. Or look around me, I should say. Yeah. Wherever we go, for instance, if we were to go to the game area, there's no game going on right now. Just me and the eerie silence of no background music. But yes, you can see this one isn't so bad, but the room, especially the studio, is a little bit sketchy. But yeah, I've been using these same placeholder assets for the studio since I started streaming. But yeah, I did revise the gaming area. I did revise that at one point, but overall, I would like to overhaul the assets to make them a little bit more cleaner and give them a little bit more of a unified aesthetic to them. And I also have been planning But yeah, this has been in the back of my mind for a while. I've made some progress towards it, but I haven't done so very much at all in the past year and a half. But I do intend to start working on a new model. Yeah, in general, I want to sort of revamp things a little bit. But yeah, I have lore as a VTuber. Yeah, to pull back kayfabe for a minute here. I have lore, I have a character, things like that, but I don't really incorporate them super well into the stream. I think it's very easy to overlook sort of the character that I'm playing here, because I don't bring it up very much, and I don't lean into it very much. And I'd like to do so a little bit more. I don't want to discard who I am, basically. You don't have to worry about me not being me for these streams or anything like that. But I do want to play a character a little bit more. My personality will still be there, but I want to incorporate the lore. I want to have a design that suggests the lore a little bit more, because, if you just look at me, it's hard to sort of assume what I am, so to speak. I have some futuristic elements. I have the cybernetic arm, I have the mask and things like that. But a lot of people, I think, upon looking at me, sort of assume robot or something like that. And the mask and the arm are elements that I do want to keep in the new design and all that. But I want to make it a little bit more clear that I am a person who is from the future, who is here researching the contemporary world and its arts and whatnot. But yes, and I want to have an environment for my streams that also reflects that somewhat more, rather than just sort of a mostly featureless void featuring a weird other void in the background, which also had some lore built into it, or some lore about it, but I never really, I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to lean into that part of it anymore. Yeah, I never really did much with it. It never really clicked with me. We'll see. But yes, I definitely want to lean into more the lore of my character and things like that. And I want to expand a little bit what I do here. So far we've just done streams where I just sort of play a game and all that. Just play a game and talk about it and all that. And I definitely want to keep doing that. I want to keep that as a major focus. But I do want to do other things a little bit as well. Beyond just the streaming, obviously I do have my art and my music. I drew this model. I rigged it myself. But yeah, I also did all of the assets except for Akari down there in the bottom left corner. But yeah, I've done, and I guess the movie also. But yeah, most of the assets here are, all done by me, including the music. So I want to do more art. I want to do more music. And I also want to do more edited content. I say more edited content. I want to do edited content. Yes, videos for the YouTube channel. Perhaps things like, I don't know. I don't really know too much what I want to do with that. But I want to do, a few ideas that I've had are potentially video essays. Possibly, video essays for one thing. Again, I don't have too much of an idea of what I would really want to do with that. It's just sort of something that I like, so it's something that I've been thinking about doing for a while. But yeah, video essays or like retrospectives, analyses of games that I like, things like that. But yeah, edited content as in taking streams and editing them somewhat. Yeah, condensing them down to a somewhat more, a somewhat easier to grasp form. I definitely like the streams, but I think it's easier for new viewers to, someone who isn't necessarily committed to watching my stream, it would be easier for them to look at a 40-minute video and think, I could probably watch this, rather than look at a 2-hour video and think, maybe. Because, that's a pretty big investment 2 hours to see if they really if they really enjoy having me around that much and that long. Yeah. So, yes, edited content I think would be easier for people to get into. Yeah, I've done YouTube Shorts before. But they never really gave me much traction. They definitely had very high viewership compared to other videos, but we never really had any consistent viewership come out of them. So I'm not, it's definitely not something that I'm opposed to necessarily. They're quite easy to make. Yeah, they're quite easy to make because they're quite short. But yeah, I don't know that that's going to be a significant focus. Probably more so what I would do would be to take a stream and basically just sort of trim the fat somewhat. But yeah, another thing that I've disliked when thinking about this is the thought of, oh, if I trim too much, I might lose some of the context for what's going on. But the original is always going to be there. I have absolutely no intention of stopping uploading the VODs and whatnot. So the original is always going to be there, but having something that's a little bit easier to digest, again, is easier for new viewers to get into, easier for people who, again, maybe don't necessarily want to commit to 2 full hours at any given time, either because they aren't sure if they necessarily enjoy my content, or just because they, don't have that much time to focus on something for that long. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't necessarily want to always commit that much. But yeah, so again, the actual full VODs are always going to be there. If anyone, sees this and thinks, oh, I wonder sort of what else happened, or things like that. I want a little bit more of a fuller view of what went on during the stream. That's always going to be an option for them. Yeah, so it's not as though I'm choosing to do one or the other. I can always do both. That's it. Yeah, and just sort of like anecdotally, I suppose. One thing, there is a streamer that I quite like, Smallant, and one time he mentioned that part of why he one of the things that he credits his success as a streamer to is the fact that he edits his own highlights and things like that. So he takes the time to look through his videos, look through his streams, and think what works, what doesn't work, what did I like doing, what didn't I like doing, and that sort of reflection helps him to improve as a streamer and whatnot. But yeah. Again, I sort of talked about Smallant there with the assumption that you don't know about him, and there's a good chance that you don't. But just statistically speaking, you almost certainly, well, not almost certainly, statistically speaking, it's much more likely that you know about Smallant than you know about me. But anyway, so things like that. Yeah, other content creators I look up to would be Dagnall, who does a lot of Animal Crossing videos largely, or at least that's sort of what I tend to think of when I think of him. But yeah. The main reason that I think of both of them is because they have a style generally where they will they will do streams and whatnot of their game, whatever they're doing, and then sort of come in and create an edited version of it. Yeah, condense it down, again, have sort of interstitial moments where they talk about sort of their thought process, what they were aiming for, things like that. And that does, they are more focused on challenge videos and things like that generally. So that sort of thing is probably more apt for a challenge video or something of the sort. But, I don't necessarily need to do exactly what they do. Just sort of, again, a similar idea of recording on a stream, streaming and having the record of that, and then condensing it down a little bit to make it something that has more mass appeal, basically. But yes, so talked about, I guess pre-recorded content. would be the first part. Yeah, video essays and things like that. Yeah, pre-recorded content, edited content. I think also some more informative content I would like to do. That's always been something that I've been interested in. Yeah, and all of these are sort of things that can overlap to some degree, I suppose, but when I say informative content, I mean something akin to a lecture or like a presentation. Not necessarily me teaching you anything, but more so me just sort of talking about things that I like. I've seen other streamers do presentations on, the history of Tamagotchis and things like that. Or, whatever else. There's all sorts of different things, but yeah, that was always a thing that I wanted to do. Have sections of streams or have entire streams where I just sort of talked about something that I like. I did that before we started Destiny 2 Forsaken. Yeah, I had a series where I talked through in brief detail sort of the history of the Destiny series or the Destiny storyline as it was relevant to up until the start of Forsaken. And I enjoyed doing that quite a bit. Yeah, that was something that I really enjoyed. And something like that is something that I would probably like to do more of. Yeah, and then for a lot of the Arknights series, I usually would either at the start of or at the end of the stream have a section where I would talk about an operator or a group of operators or some sort of concept related to the series, like talking about horopathy and like the mutations that it can cause and things like that, or again about specific operators and specific characters and things like that. I enjoyed that a lot as well. Yeah, I haven't done it as much recently because again, I've had to compromise a lot. Just doing the stream was a challenge for a lot of these past 2 years. So the additional challenge of having to collect information and, figure out how to present it in a way that is interesting was not necessarily something that I always wanted to do. So yeah, I would like to do things like that a little bit more in the future. Yeah, again, I do want to preserve the idea of the main game and have that be something that I stream twice a week. Then the remaining 2-3 days of the week would be more free form. Yeah, and that's when I would probably do the other bonus content, so to speak. And then, of course, edited and pre-recorded content would be things that I do behind the scenes. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to necessarily emphasize that quite as much. But yeah, I think doing highlight videos would be something that I would like to do. That's definitely the thing that I am in edited videos. That is definitely what I would like to do the most, I think, because I think that would give me, that would do the best for promoting the stream itself, I would say. Because it would be, just the stream itself, but without, the pauses that I take to think, or, just the most interesting parts of each stream. So what was I saying about that? So that would be, I don't know precisely what I want to do with that right now. I think the ideal would probably be to do something akin to, you mentioned another YouTuber that I watch, Adam vs. Everything, who does a lot of, well, I mostly know him for RimWorld content. A lot of his series he does a lot of long challenge runs in RimWorld, like, or themed runs where he'll play with a specific xenotype or play with certain restrictions, like you can't build walls, or you can only use certain types of, weapons, certain technologies, things like that. He doesn't edit them himself, but he does, or he puts out videos that are edited versions of, these entire series. And while I don't necessarily plan to do that, it would be, hard to do that with a lot of the series that I do because they're quite long, generally speaking. But I think I could definitely do that with, say, I could edit down a chapter of Arknights or an event or something like that into a single video. Yeah, I think they are often called supercuts and things like that. Into a single, like, long video with the highlights from each of those. Yeah, I think something like that would be pretty good. I think something like that would be pretty good. But each of those would be made of individual streams, of course. So I think rather than focusing on trying to make, big videos, because, these videos are usually like about 4 to 6 hours long because they condense, 40 or so, possibly more hours of gameplay. Yeah, they're often quite long. And, I don't necessarily want to commit to doing that starting from zero. So probably what I would do would be more like I said, taking individual streams and making sort of a highlight video out of that stream. But yeah. So I don't necessarily want to commit to anything too strongly on that. But yeah, because I'm still learning a lot. But yeah, I would need to learn sort of what I want to do with the videos, how I want to present them, and things like that. Yeah, just how to cut them efficiently and what sort of moments I want to keep in and what I don't. And, there's always going to be an element of trial and error. I can't just theory craft it all ahead of time. I'll have to see what works and what doesn't. But yes. But yeah. So I'm not going to commit to anything too strongly at this point because, again, I have not started it yet, so I don't know what it's going to be like. I don't know how much time I'm going to need to commit to doing it. But yeah, I think once I get to a point where I can do at least one of those per month, I think would be good. But yeah. Yeah, I guess making a single highlight video per month of like one stream probably wouldn't be very effective. Probably I'd want to do more, maybe like condense a month's worth of Arknights into a video. But I don't know. Again, this is all very much up in the air. I talked about the model, things like that. So I think that basically covers everything that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I did take down notes. I do wish that I had organized things a little bit more, just to make sure that I went over everything that I wanted to talk about. But I think that should be basically it. So again, just to summarize, all of this is to say, the expectation going forward is I want to stream 4 to 5 times a week. 2 of those streams will be the main game. 3 of those streams will be whatever I feel like. Yes, the main game for right now is Arknights, and it will continue to be so until such time as we are done with Act 1 of Arknights. Then I will switch over to Tales of Arise for the main game, while Arknights becomes a side game. Yes, currently the side game is Mika and the Witch's Mountain, but, that is going to probably switch over to Atelier Yumiya. I'm probably going to run them concurrently to some degree, because again, this upcoming week we're going to be doing a lot of Arknights, and then part of the week after that we're going to be doing a lot of Arknights to make sure that we can get through the Delicious in Dungeon crossover event. So we're probably going to be putting our side games mostly on hold for the next week and a half or so. But yes, anyway, so Atelier Yumiya and Mika and the Witch's Mountain are going to be side games going forward. Yes, once we have some more space, because I don't want to do too many side games at a time. And I guess Guilty Gear is also a side game. Yeah, I don't want to do too many side games at a time. So, Atelier Yumiya and Mika and the Witch's Mountain. Then I assume we're going to get done with Mika and the Witch's Mountain soonest. So once we're done with that, we'll probably incorporate Live Alive back into the schedule. But yes, then, I guess, I don't know. I guess there isn't too much reason to, but I would like to see if I could get through Atelier Yumiya before we move on to Rune Factory. Because again, I don't want to have to put anything on hold to pick that back up. Or pick that back up. Pick that up in the first place. But yes, so again, going to be changing up the look of things around here, changing up the way I present things a little bit. Yeah, going to be making things look better, going to be making my character a little bit different. Yeah, visually and, again, narratively, I suppose. But yes, and then, again, we're going to be changing up a little bit what I put out. I might make a separate channel for edited content, things like that. Yeah, that is typically how people do things. I don't know necessarily what the advantage of that is, but considering how many channels do it, I assume that there must be some sort of algorithmic advantage to it, probably. Yeah, I think from what I've heard discussed by YouTubers and whatnot, generally speaking, YouTube prefers to, for a channel to have a specific type of content that it produces, basically, and specific lengths of content and such. So if you aren't consistent enough with that, then they tend to get a little bit, the algorithm tends to get a little bit confused and not know quite what people to present your stuff to, I guess. That's it. So, I think that was a pretty decent summary. But yeah, it is, once again, hard to believe that it has been 3 years already, but indeed it has. Man. Yeah, 3 years. 4 years. 4 years. It's the 4th anniversary. Yeah, I was just bowled away there for a moment. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to the upcoming years. I hope that you all are as well. And so, I think it is about time that we conclude. But yes, fairly short. I guess it's been an hour, but yeah, I wasn't expecting this to be too long anyway. So, let's see who is out there. I think tonight we're going to raid into Cole M the Golem. Yes, who is also just chatting. Yeah, I felt that might be an appropriate thing. Yes, a similar sort of tone, perhaps. We'll wait out the ad, of course. And yeah, so again, this upcoming week, we expect for, I guess, yeah, if anyone has any suggestions as well. I don't know, it feels somewhat rude to say that I'm going to raid Cole and then not raid Cole, so let's raid Cole. I forgot to ask about these suggestions. But anyway, so upcoming week, we can expect to do a lot, or we can expect to see a lot of Arknights. Probably we would be playing that, yeah, again, 5 days out of the week, so that would be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But yes, Thursday and Friday streams, you can expect around 9 p.m., 9:30 p.m. Then every other stream you can expect to be around 8:30 p.m. or so. Possibly again a little bit earlier. But yes. So, let's see. Yeah, Arknights. I think I'm still going to do Guilty Gear on Friday, but other than that, I think it's going to be all Arknights all the time next week, basically. So, thank you all for being here tonight. Oops, let me get the raid set up. Cole M the Golem. Yes. Oh, okay. I'm not allowed to raid it this time. Never mind. So, let's see. How about Altariana. Alright, there we go. But yes, Altariana is a good friend of the channel, of course, as well. Longtime collaborator. And so, the customary raid message is, we have arrived. And so, thank you all for being here tonight. I hope that you have had a fine night. I hope that you will continue to have a fine night every night. And I hope that you will be well until the next time I see you. Thank you all very much, and farewell. Let us get this raid underway.